Please subscribe to Facetv Africa and turn the notification on. Facetv Africa, ẹ jọ̀ọ́, subscribe, hete.
Face TV Muswobi.
Nigerian government, this is getting too much and it's getting out of hands. And if Nigerian government continue doing all these things, agbára Nigerian government oníkà, Mr. President, actually Bola Tinubu, I voted for you too. And tí bá ti ń sọ kíní yẹn, àwọn èèyàn máa sọ pé ṣe bí wọ́n náà vote fún, ṣe bí wọ́n máa sọ pé ó vote fún, ṣe bí ó ní confidence in you. Yes now. Ṣé tó gbé mo vote fún sí kó wá kí nǹkan wá ṣẹlẹ̀ kí má wá sọ mind mi ni. I have to say my mind. Because what is going on in the country, nobody is pleased with it. So if I'm not pleased with it, the best thing for me is to come out and say it. So for anybody come to my YouTube channel and start abusing me, that's your own cup of tea. That's fine. But most of our answer about talking Tinubu is because I voted for him and I have right to criticize. And nobody expects what we are seeing now. See how much they are selling fuel. And it's very certain because we talk about to increase it. That is why I now say that this subsidy tí wọ́n sọ pé ó favor àwọn kan tó wà ní tó jẹ́ politician is a lie, is a scam. Mr. President, subsidy, we need subsidy in this country because you've removed subsidy in everything from education, in dollar, name it. You remove subsidy in so many things in this country. Now, when you are removing this subsidy, what are you using it to replace it? A lot of people are suffering. Now, àwọn kan tó bá fẹ́ clear ọjà nsìn, container tó ń clear about 2.something million. Tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀, at last year or last 2 years, ó ti wọ 23 million or more. Where are we going in this country? Àjẹ̀fẹ́ yẹ kí nǹkan wọ́n, Mr. President. And corruption is increasing day by day in your government. Tí wọ́n bá sack ẹnìkan, tó bá ní kéèyàn kan máa lọlé, we all know what is going to happen. Mr. President, we can't continue like this. People are suffering. You can't do everything at a time. Gradually, ni wọ́n ṣe. We cannot continue like this. Now that they increase fuel now, you will see what is going to happen to foodstuff. Everything got too high. And what you did, immediately you removed that subsidy, it affected so many things. Everything will affect. And you want people to continue supporting you. A lot of people, some of Nigerians believe in your policy, but at least split it, maybe once in 6 months. And if you want to do anything, you know that it's going to affect Nigerians. At least do some palliative on some stuff that you can, okay, teba yokini, bitama fisilele. But you are just doing everything as you want. People continue to suffer day by day. Now, some people will say, we buy for 1,500, some 1,200, some 1,250 in this country. And it's still possible that they are going to increase it again. Increase it. It's not up to 2 months. It's not up to 2 months. One increase in Guinea. Want to increase it again. Where are we going in this country? And you want security in this country? Mr. President, please, you have to do something about it. You must do something about it. Let's watch this video together.
Petrol politics has become an albatross on the neck of Nigerians since, well, if you look at the period that we have been having instability in the sector, I think it dates back to 1999, when we then said democracy was the best option for us, and we embraced it. With President Obasanjo increased petroleum prices for about 3-4 times. I recall vividly that I got so livid at the time that I had to approach the Federal High Court in Abuja to sue the president at the time. And after about 9 months, the court dismissed that action on the premise that I lacked locus to sue the president, that he had immunity. So we thought that would be the end of it. But looking historically between then and now, it became even worse from last year when President Bola Tinubu took power. At a time that he promised renewed hope for Nigerians. When the 8 years of President Buhari's tenure, we thought that we have had it worse, and then the president on the first day that he was taking office told Nigerians that fuel subsidy was gone, because before then the argument had been that petroleum subsidy was hurting the economy, it was creating problems for everyone, and that there was a need to take it off the table. So the three leading presidential candidates at the time, candidate Tinubu, Peter Obi, and Atiku Abubakar, they all spoke around the issue, what they would do, the strategies they will adopt if they become president with fuel subsidy and all of that. But for Tinubu, on day one, he said subsidy was gone. And so Nigerians heaved a sigh of relief. And then there was cost-reflective prices after that announcement, and Nigerians were made to pay more. But after then, we just discovered that everybody has lost his or her sleep, and we just don't understand what is happening anymore in that sector. It's a whole lot of problem. But what I hear now is quite alarming. Yeah, it's quite alarming. First, if you look at the politics around the issue, once the sector was deregulated, Dangote had announced that he was ready to come on stream. The NNPC, which is, of course, a government monopoly that had become a private limited liability company, started buying off private petrol stations around the country. Okay. For me, I was alarmed. Why would NNPC be buying off petroleum distribution outlets privately owned by individuals? So we thought that was going to bring some relief and succor to Nigerians. But for me now, as a journalist, I now see that there could be more than meets the eye with that action that the NNPC took. Right. Now the NNPC then approached Dangote, struck a deal with Dangote Refinery that they were going to be the only off-taker of petroleum products. And at the time that Nigerians were asking questions, what will be the ultimate price of a liter of fuel? Dangote will say, NNPC will respond to that. When you go to NNPC will pass it back to
right.
Yeah, the opaqueness is something that is worrisome. Before I came into the studio, I want to shock Nigerians. That as we speak, there are vessels loaded with petroleum, that's with fuel, refined fuel, coming from Mauritius to Nigeria. And nobody is telling Nigerians what is happening. So the government, that is NNPC itself, is importing fuel. They are on the high sea now, approaching the shores of Nigeria. So all of this, I see it as a drama to raise the prices, to benefit those that are importing this fuel. That is just basically what is going on. It's exclusive, and I'm sure that by next week, 2 weeks from now, we'll see that those vessels would have arrived. Because if you look, NNPC is also saying that they are no longer going to be the middlemen to off-taker from. So where is NNPC going to get the fuel to sell across? So they are importing fuel. And then leaving the private, I heard Bibi is the man who spoke before I came in, saying that he's the president of. So I wonder where now they're asking all of them to go to to Dangote Refinery to get. I doubt if it's deregulated. So why will I also hear the government saying that anybody could get licenses to import fuel if you want to import fuel. So why do we at some point we all thought that with Dangote Refinery promised that they had the capacity to produce and supply fuel to cover the entire country. So for me, I do not really think that we need to import fuel, except the fuel import is benefiting some people. So the politics around that issue is covered with a whole lot of opaqueness and lack of transparency.
Okay, so given the fluctuating nature of global oil prices, how might international events and geopolitics affect this? I think that's where we are now.
Yes, that's where it will appear that is where we are. Yes, international geopolitics and international politics around oil prices. If you look at even the instability in the Middle East and all of that, there's argument around the issue that that is going to adversely affect the pump prices of fuel. But some countries will be able to cope with it, because energy security is a fundamental issue, it's a fundamental responsibility of any serious government. You cannot leave it open at a time that also the government has floated the naira. Once you float the naira, you have also substantially devalued your local currency. So it has lost the capability and capacity to compete with other currencies of the world. So when people argue that, even if you buy petrol for 1,030 naira, as the NNPC say now, that it is still less than maybe $1 and all of that, they forget that the multimodal transport system and the advanced infrastructure system in those countries that want to compare Nigeria with, it is just not possible to do those comparisons. So those numbers do not add up. And I think that, and of course, if you also compare that or look at that against the backdrop that there's multi-dimensional poverty in Nigeria, and Nigerians are rated over 65% of the population is regarded as being very poor, that they are suffering from multi-dimensional poverty, then it means that we cannot really compete.
Please subscribe to Face TV Africa and turn the notification on. Face TV Africa, subscribe,
Face TV. Muswobi.